All right, what's going on, big dogs? Welcome back to the channel. So, with the Brimstone Sands update being out now for a couple of days, and everyone getting some time to sit with it, play it, and see how they feel about it, I felt now was a great time to not only give my thoughts on the update, but also my thoughts on where I think this is going to take New World as a whole. So, sit back, relax, and let's dig into this. Alright guys, so there are going to be a few main things that we're going to discuss in this video. What the update added, were the additions a positive or a negative, and how will they help the game in the long term, if at all. So let us get started with what was added. As most of us know, New World didn't exactly start it off with the greatest of launches. The world was empty and bare, other than a few random wolf caves and large cats spread around the world. The number of enemies was honestly very limited. Many of them were just simple retextures of basic enemies like archers, warriors, mages, brutes, basic run of the mill enemies. And most of them were honestly just zombies or water zombies, and other were just corrupted zombies. Not exactly a ton of variation on the enemy types, and their attack movesets were all the same. Basic attacks followed by a charged attack that you could easily dodge. And not only that, on top of it, it was proven several times at the beginning of the game that a couple of the main cities were simply just copy-paste versions of each other, with little things sprinkled around the territory that made it look slightly different. Well, with the release of Brimstone Sands, that has basically taken all of that and thrown it out the window. They have completely remade Everfall and Monarch's Bluffs, which look absolutely fantastic, by the way. They also added in a plethora of enemies and new enemy strongholds, ranging from simple little outposts to large bases that are honestly quite intimidating, all the way up to full-blown abandoned castles. And the new enemies are even better than ever. Some of them are actual genuine people from different societies with spears, actual abilities that they use that you need to dodge or they can CC chain you. And it honestly makes for a way more fun and interactive experience around the world. I have found myself just wandering around and getting lost in all the new castles and new scenes and structures that are put up all over the place. They've added in plenty of new types of quests, ranging from puzzles to parkour and climbing quests. It honestly feels like this is what the game was supposed to be. And on top of that, they also released one of my favorite weapons I've ever used in any MMO, the Greatsword. Now, the Greatsword is extremely overpowered right now, and more than likely will be getting a nerf soon. But it has honestly been one of the most satisfying weapons I have ever gotten to use. Now, to add to all of that, the entire beginning of the game and all the quests at the beginning have been updated to make the flow of the game smoother. They made the story honestly absolutely worth listening to and very grabbing. You could be walking around, you finish a quest, and all of a sudden you get this voice from the corruption telling you about how everything you're doing is for nothing, how you're just destined to fail. And it just makes you want to prove her wrong. And the new dialogue they've added and the flow to the quests, making it so you don't have to run all the way across the map, and so that the person that gave you the quest is just waiting for you outside the stronghold they asked you to invade, or outside the cave they asked you to kill a vicious baron. Honestly makes the game so much more smooth, and the gameplay just a lot more rewarding, to say the least. Now, like I stated with the quests, they added a ton of new beginner quests that honestly show new players the ropes, and was something that the community was asking for a long time. They show you how the inns work, how long it takes for you to recall to them, where you should be storing all your gear, what gear you should be using, how to craft items, what items you should be looking for early on, etc., etc. And it honestly makes the beginning of the game a lot easier for new players. And instead of having to go to global chat and asking a bunch of level 60 max players who are simply trying to do the next dungeon, they can actually sit and read dialogue and be like, okay, this makes sense. I can live with this. But that brings me to my next point. How was this update genuinely received by the community? Well, for the most part, the update seems to have done its job. New World is booming right now. Massive amounts of new and returning players are coming back. The game has been extremely popular, not only on Twitch, but on YouTube as well. And Brimstone Sands seems to be having one of the best launches for a DLC I've seen in a long time. However, I do have to say there have been a couple of issues, and they mainly revolve around the quests. See, with the massive map updates and quest revamping, some people, including myself, have noticed that they are unable to finish quests that they started before the expansion, but didn't finish. Now, that's mainly due to the area you needed to go to for that quest just simply not being there anymore, or the enemies that you're told to go kill are no longer in that area either. One example of this is the Wither outside of Monarch's Bluffs. There's a quest that you have to be level 7 to start, and it asks you to go outside Monarch's Bluffs and kill a few of the withered zombies. They are no longer there, so you cannot complete this quest. Now, I do have to state the dev team has stated that this will be fixed as soon as possible, but I also believe we shouldn't just glance over it. But other than that, and a few minor graphical bugs that I've noticed, but that could just be on my end, so I'm not going to push that onto Amazon, the update has honestly been a massive success, and this is exactly what we were all expecting the game to be a year ago when it launched. And it goes to prove not only my point, but many others saying that the game should have taken another year or a year and a half to develop and fully finish the game before releasing it. The update is full of new and interesting quests, and New World is starting to feel like it's living up to its full potential. However, with all the success coming back, it begs many to ask the question, how will New World continue to succeed after this? And in my opinion, there are only two ways this can go. Either Amazon learns from their mistakes, like they have apparently done so, and releases small but meaningful updates like they've done for the last year that continue to improve the quality of the game and continue to add simple new modes, weapons, and quest lines to keep the player base interested and occupied while they work on maybe one or two major updates like this one a year. But the key is that they don't go back to their old ways of just trying to rush things out and hope that players won't notice how unpolished the game is. Overall, I think New World is finally in a spot to compete with some of the big names in the MMO scene, as well as to push the game to new heights that honestly it should have been doing from the start. This update has honestly been one of the most fun, entertaining, and beautiful updates I've gotten to play in any MMO or honestly any game in the last several years. It's very large, impactful, nearly bug-free, and I honestly hope Amazon is able to keep this up and continue to make this game what it truly could be. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think of the update. Comment down below on how you're feeling about Brimstone and maybe what you would have added or maybe things you would have kept out of the update. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you are aware when I upload videos just like this one. And if you have time, guys, swing on over to my Twitch and catch me live. Say hi, we can chat, talk about the game, or I can try and answer any questions you guys might have that I haven't been able to answer before. Anyways, thank you all for your time, and I will see y'all in the next video. Have a good night, guys.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body in Harvard about